Hi, Heather Namelka here, and I am going to be showing you how we make crepes. So crepes are a family favorite of ours. We have them every Sunday for lunch. My kids love them and they are easy to make. All you need is a frying pan with low sides, milk, flour, sugar, eggs, and butter, and then whatever you want to put inside of them. So let's get going. So I like to use a blender. I like my crepes to have no lumps. I like a very smooth batter, and a blender allows me to do this. A blender is also great because if you're not going to make all of the crepes at once, you can use the blender jar and put it in your fridge, and then when you're ready to make crepes again, whatever leftover batter you have, you can use the blender. So we've got our blender jar, and we have a cup and a half of milk that we're going to pour, and then 4 eggs, and I just use 4 large eggs. And these are all colorful eggs from a local farm nearby. Okay, so we've got our eggs in there, and I go ahead and blend it up just a little bit for right now. Okay, then I have my cup of flour that I'll add. Tablespoon of sugar, blending again, and I'm also taking a cube of butter that I've cut in half. And the thing that's important with your butter is you want to brown it. There's something about browning it that gives it a really great flavor. You're kind of caramelizing that butter. And so putting it in this pan and getting it really hot is a very important part of this. And we're going to heat it in this pan before adding it to the batter. And as soon as it's nice and brown, we'll be ready to add it and continue mixing our batter. So one of the keys to making great crepes is you want to have a pan that is pretty hot. As I continue to cook this butter, it's going to brown in the pan. All right, so now that it's brown, I'm ready to go ahead and add it to my batter. And I'm gonna try to add it kind of quickly because it's hot and I don't want it to cook the eggs in the blender. So I just get as much butter out of that as possible. It's ready to go, and I'm going to put the pan back onto the stove and blend up my batter. And some of the butter will collect at the top, so I like to take a rubber spatula and just push down the butter a little bit on the edges and scrape it down. And then there will be some bubbles at the top, and I like to kind of pop them a little bit with my spatula. So now you can kind of check out the batter. This is what it looks like, and it has some bubbles at the top. Again, I'm just going to use this spatula to kind of pop some of those bubbles so you get a smoother batter. So with my pan that's here on the stove, I'm going to go ahead and take my other half of the stick of butter, and I'm going to cover it and get ready to pour the batter and make my crepes. So as you can see, I just pour a little bit at a time, and I'm going to move the batter in the pan and just rotate it around. So you can see I'm just rotating this batter in the pan, okay? And if there's some bubbles, I just cover them up with some of the batter so that there aren't any bubbles, okay? So we're gonna let that cook. And what I like to do, again, with this hot temperature, I like to take my spatula and I like to kind of like push down the edges a little bit from the sides, and this is going to help it release from the pan easier. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm ready, and I'll just kind of check it just to make sure that it's ready to flip, and it looks ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip it. And I like my crepes to be a little brown, So it's not going to be super light in color, but I like that little brown look to it. So it's just cooking. And with crepes, they're different from pancakes. So pancakes, you'll see the bubbles coming up to the top. And with crepes, that doesn't happen. So you kind of have to check the edges of the crepes themselves, and you'll notice that the edges will get a little brown, and that's how you know that you're ready to flip it. So now that we've made our crepe, we're ready to fill it. Here's my crepe. This is really easy, really great, and then whatever I don't make today, I can make tomorrow. Another thing I love to do is make crepes ahead of time. I'll just make a stack of crepes and put them on top of a cookie sheet and put it in the oven. I usually lay wax paper down first and stack them up on each other. I don't put anything in between them, and I put them on a low temperature in the oven just to keep them warm. And then when I'm ready to serve them, I put them out on the counter, cover it with a towel to keep them all nice and warm before they're served. And this is something else that's super easy. Does take time, but everybody loves it, and they're a favorite. Hope you enjoy this recipe, and if you're looking for other great recipes, check out my blog at skiwampus.com. Again, Heather Nemelka, have a great one. Enjoy your crepes.